Witch in Charm's Way, a cozy mystery audiobook, written and narrated by R.K. Dreaming. Part 8. Suddenly, I felt the tip of her wand pressing against my ribs. It was all I could do not to gasp. "Are you any good at using your wand yet?" she asked. I was so shocked by what she had done that I couldn't even respond. I was furious. Stabbing your wand at someone like that was as good as punching them. It was an invitation to a duel. It was incredibly rude, and it showed me exactly how much contempt she had for me. She knew that I still had no wand magic, or none that I could control anyway. I considered getting my wand out and sticking it in her ribs too. Two could play at this game. But where she had magical control, I had none. My magic probably wouldn't work, or even worse, it might. What if my anger burst out through it like it had done the other day? What if I hurt her? She saw the look in my eyes, and she looked triumphant. She had won without even having to fight. "How long are you here for?" she drawled. "You'd better make it a quick visit because you won't last long in this town." "It's none of your business," I ground out. "And if you don't take that wand away from me, I'm going to break it." She looked shocked. To threaten to break someone's wand was incredibly rude. It was worse than threatening to break someone's limb. I meant it too. I was different now. The old me would never have considered breaking someone's wand, not even a bully's. The new me would snap it like a twig and laugh about it. "Stupid meek," she hissed. "You think you're so powerful now that you've got Mansion House? You can wipe that smug look off your face. My family is going to contest the will. That castle belongs to us. Uncle Alaric ploughed half the family fortune into restoring it. It is ours." "Not according to the will, it isn't," I said. "And do you want to tell that to the 7 ghosts, or shall I?" The tip of her wand poked harder into my ribs. I tried not to flinch. "Giselle!" said a sharp voice behind us. We both turned to see Lorcan Hardwick striding towards us. He looked shocked to see her stabbing her wand at me like that. Clearly not wanting her younger brother to think badly of her, Giselle chuckled and swung her wand away as if she had only been playing. Lorcan did not look fooled. He shot me an apologetic look and dragged her away by the wrist. "Hey," I said to him, "did Agent Constantine talk to you?" He looked stricken. He swallowed hard and he nodded. For a moment I thought he actually might cry, but then a blank mask came over his face. He knew that Lily was dead. His sister was looking furiously from him to me, as if astonished that we knew each other. He tucked her arm through his and hustled her away from me. "What was that about?" she asked him sharply as they went. "Nothing," he ground out. They disappeared around a corner. I waited just a moment and then followed them at a safe distance. "How exactly do you know her?" I heard Giselle demand. "You two better not be—" "Don't be stupid, Giselle. Of course I'm not." "Good, because Uncle Alaric was bad enough. Grandmother wouldn't tolerate it. And anyway, you know that all the girls in her family are cursed. It will only end badly. She's bad news. You stay away from her." It made me angry to hear her speak of the curse. All of the women in my family really were cursed, and it had been a Hardwick who had put the fairy tale curse on our great-great-great-great-great-something grandmother hundreds of years ago. We were doomed to find love only through fairy tale romances, And everyone knew fairy tales never really ended happily. The princes were always crap, the princesses often insipid. Love never ended happily for us Westbrim women. Sometimes I was surprised the family line had managed to last this long. That had probably been the point of the curse, to wipe us out. Too bad for the Hardwicks, it had not worked. "Are you finished?" said Lorcan acidly to his sister. "It looks to me like you are the one who should stay away from her before you let your anger do something that you're going to regret. I saw what you did with your wand." Giselle's voice changed and became thoughtful, scheming even. "Actually, you knowing her might not be a bad thing. You can help me think of a way to get rid of her, get her out of the castle." Her voice trailed off as they walked further down the corridor. I wasn't going to be able to follow them without them realizing that I was behind them. It didn't matter, though. Her plots would come to nothing. I wasn't planning on sticking around. I turned back around and went into the section of the library that I wanted. Once I got there, I looked around in dismay. Being away in London for so long, I had forgotten how vast the magical and eldritch sections of Brimstone Library were. "Need some help?" said a cheery voice in my ear, making me jump. I turned my head, expecting to see a librarian. Who I saw was definitely not a librarian. My mouth dropped open. "What are you doing here?" I squeaked. And then I blushed hotly for having said it. Why was I always letting that stupid question come out of my mouth? For the second time today, I was bumping into someone who I had known from high school. This time, it was my high school crush, Jasper Echo. But unlike the glowering Chris Constantine, Jasper Echo didn't sneer at my question. "Same as you, getting some books," he said cheerfully. "Books? You?" I said. I realised how offensive it sounded the moment I said it, but Jasper only laughed. "I've finally learned to read," he said confidingly. I giggled. I couldn't help it. It was that twinkle in his sea-green eyes. Jasper had always been smart, if a little lazy about his schoolwork. He was the same as he had always been, lean and athletic with a swimmer's build. His golden curly hair still flopping over his forehead, that dimple still in his cheek. So adorable that I wanted to hug him. But I did not, because he and I had never really been friends. We had once been paired up by the teacher for a science project in our final year at school. Before that, I had always admired him from afar. In fact, I wondered why he was talking to me now. I looked around in confusion. Had he mistaken me for somebody else? "Have you lost someone?" he said. "Your cousins?" My eyebrows rose. "Do you know my cousins?" He shrugged. "You are Esme Westbrim, aren't you? I remember you from school." I touched my hair automatically, as if to check it was still brown. How come all of these people were recognizing me? "You've changed it," he commented. "It used to be cute. Not that it isn't now," he added quickly. Wow, Jasper Echo remembered me. He said my hair used to be cute. I scowled. No, not wow. Darn right he should remember me. I was worthy of remembering. I had so generously forgiven him after our botched experiment, hadn't I? And I was a fully grown woman now. I was above gushing, particularly since I was pleased to note I was not experiencing any butterflies whatsoever, which was very good. And anyway, he might be a fully grown man, but he was still clearly used to effortlessly attracting people's adoration. He wasn't going to get mine. He was looking at me like he might not be surprised if I fell at his feet. No, thank you very much. It was kind of mortifying to think that he might know that I'd had a crush on him in school, and I was definitely not going to give him any hint of it now. Gosh, It was weird coming home, like I'd been transported back in time. People hadn't changed. My emotions hadn't changed as much as I'd have liked. It was unsettling. "It was good seeing you," I said to him briskly. "I'd better be off." I walked away, and I could have sworn before I went that I saw a hint of disappointment in his eyes. It didn't matter. I wouldn't be seeing him again. The only reason I'd come here was to find a way back home. I spent the next hour and a half until the library closed, finding the books that I wanted, and caught a cab back to Mansion House. Hi, you've reached the end. Comment, "Life is a fairy tale," as a code word to confuse everyone who hasn't reached this part of the story yet. Thanks for playing along.